coming up on At Your Leisure.
I'm Scott Huntsman.
And I'm Tonya Huntsman.
Have you ever wanted to take a close-up look at some elk? Well, stay tuned.
I'm Katy Yardley.
I'm Mark, and welcome to Katy's Kitchen.
Today we are going to be cooking Swedish meatballs.
I'm Will Oxley, and I'm going to go on a ride with one of the largest Jeep clubs in Las Vegas.
You know, we've got elk in the background, we got blue sky, we're up here in the deep snow. You know we got to be somewhere. I think we're at Hardware Ranch. You ready to see some elk up close?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm Tonya Huntsman. Welcome to At Your Leisure.
And I'm Scott Huntsman. Hey, we're up here with family, and we're up here with our extended family, and a pretty good sized one at that. You know, we're with the Fox family. They're our in-laws. And they brought us up here a few years ago, and we decided to come on back up with them and have a great time and bring all you guys along with. We are also here with the Johnsons, the Huntsmans. I mean, we just have a large family, and we're proud of it, and we love every one of them. And
Here's our
special
grandbaby,
granddaughter Macy's with us today too. Is that your name? Oh, far out. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? Hardware Ranch is a great place. And it's a great place to come and see the elk up close. It's a great sleigh ride.
Bundle up.
Yeah, well, yeah, you better bundle up. It's what, 12 degrees?
Yeah.
15? I don't know. It's pretty cold today. That doesn't bother me.
It bothers me.
Okay. Anyway, let's go see what Hardware Ranch is all about.
So when you come in here for the sleigh ride, we have our visitor center where you can purchase your ticket. We've got staff up there that will interpret for you what you're seeing. We usually have some sort of activity, craft activity going on for kids up there. Any questions that you have, the staff can answer. And then once you get your ticket, you can come down here and get in line and get on a sleigh ride. And you can expect to be on the sleigh for about 30 minutes. Your driver will take you out on the meadow. You'll get to see elk at a lot closer distance. And they'll tell you about a little bit about the history of the WMA, why we feed the elk, some information about elk biology, and answer questions that you may have.
I can't think of a better, prettier spot to be able to walk out there and be from me to you, away from elk, bull elk, cow elk, calves, see how they interact with each other, see them eat and fight and play and call to each other. It's just fantastic. Every day I do it, and every day it's fantastic. We get asked if the elk are free to come and go or if they're corralled here, which they are free. They are completely wild. They come and go every day. Probably a third of the herd leave every day and go off and sleep somewhere else. We're doing our very best to keep the lines down, but dress warm because it is in the mountains, and sometimes it's warm and sometimes it's cold and sometimes it's both. So we start the first weekend in December and we'll end the second weekend in February. So February 12th will be our last day this year. Just come and be excited to be here and have a good time. It's awesome.
We're here at Hardware Ranch. We're just getting ready for our ride. While we do that, you check this out.
I'm Katy Yardley.
I'm Mark, and welcome to Katy's Kitchen.
Today we are going to be cooking Swedish meatballs. So what we're going to do is we've got our meat, and we're going to put it into the bowl.
Just a little cheese.
Yeah, honey. This recipe doesn't call for cheese, but you know what? You get to grate the onion.
Oh, it's a good thing I love onion.
1/2 to 3/4 of it, okay?
Guaranteed not to make my eyes water.
So while he's grating the onion, I've got the meat in. I'm going to take the Ritz crackers, which one thing I did do with the Ritz crackers, as you can see, they're still in the original bag. I just take and slowly break them up in there, then just open it up, and we want to add our 2 eggs, fresh ground nutmeg, some allspice, the garlic powder, and don't be shy, you want some salt. Honey, you've done such an amazing job on that onion. Okay, I need the juices that are on there too, so don't let them fall off. I'm gonna take just the chopped onion This is where it gets really messy. As you guys all know, when I do my meatballs, I like to use my hands. These are the best tools you have in the kitchen. So just start mixing everything up together, and you want to get everything mixed up really well. And then we'll start rolling them up in the balls and putting them on our cookie sheet. But for this dish, I like the small, tiny meatballs. Just roll them up and set them on a pan with your parchment paper. All right, once you get your meatballs all on the pan, and as you can see, as I'm going along, my meatballs get a little bit bigger and bigger. So I kind of ran out of a little bit of room, but it's okay. With meatballs, you know, unlike cookies, they actually shrink a little bit as they cook instead of expand, so they'll be just fine. So we're gonna put these in the oven at 375 degrees for probably about 25-30 minutes. This is the time we make the sauce. All right, let's put our 4 tablespoons of butter. I like to let my butter melt a little bit before I put the flour in. And then once you put your flour in, you wanna cook it till it starts browning a little bit, stirring constantly with a whisk. Part of the reason why you want to cook your butter and flour until it browns, that way you don't get the raw flour. You want it nice and cooked before you add your liquids.
So you just a little bit at a time? You don't want to pour it all in at once?
No, you don't want to pour it all in at once. You do a little bit at a time, and it will continue to thicken. So when you pour more in, it's going to seem like it's really thin, but really it's not, because it's very liquid still. This is where I want to add our tablespoon of the beef paste. 1 cup heavy cream. We'll add our mustard. Don't get mad at me if these aren't traditional Swedish meatballs. This is my version. All right, a little Worcestershire. Mix that in and then just let this simmer. Anyway, we're ready to take them out of the oven, and they look spectacular. They've held their shape nicely, which is exactly what I was looking for with our lean Steakburger. Sometimes it does better in the oven. Those are absolutely gorgeous. All right, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the meatballs into the sauce and then let it cook in the sauce for about, for about 5 to 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. So today we are actually having ours with some egg noodles. Oh wow, look at that. He didn't even wait for me, he was so hungry. All right, how was it?
That is delicious. Incredible.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that good?
I really hope you guys go and try this recipe. You can cook your meatballs in the pan if you want, but if you're using the Yardley Steakburger, I highly recommend that you bake them in the oven and then put them in the sauce and let them cook for about 10 minutes or so in the sauce. The flavor is spectacular. So I'm happy you like them, honey.
Yes,
my Swedish meatballs.
Very delicious.
Perfect. We will be right back with more At Your Leisure.
Places like the San Rafael Swell are famous for a reason. Endless riding opportunities, history that reaches back millennia, sites you never knew existed. All it needs is one central location where you can easily visit it all. That place is Farron, Utah. Sleep comfortably, dine in, and ride directly from your hotel or campsite. Experience the San Rafael Swell. Experience Farron.
Wondering where your next OHV adventure will take you? Outsiders Utah has your answer with downloadable GPS routes, ride times, distance, local amenities, and other details. 360 street views of the trails that let you explore before you go, and more. Eliminate the guesswork and uncertainty and find a trail you'll love. Visit outsidersutah.com and see the trail before you ride the trail.
What would your perfect day in Green River look like? You'd probably start with a few good friends and a hearty breakfast. From there, you'd hit the trails along the Green River and find things you never expected. Your OHVs would take you to places both striking and serene. You'd end at Ray's for a burger and good conversation, letting the memories grow long into the night. Green River, Utah. Ride your perfect today.
What does the modern explorer look like? Do they head out before dawn and ride until dusk? Do they find what's never been found? Here in Wayne County, you are the modern explorer. Climb in your machine and set out on the Great Western Trail. Wayne County, Utah. Find what's never been found.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. Make sure that you bundle up because it's cold. That's all I'm saying.
Are you cold? Yeah, well, I think we're doing pretty good though. You know, we're riding around on the sleigh here and we're out in the elk herd, and it's really fascinating because the drivers of these sleds are very educational with what they can tell you about the history and why they do this and how long it's been around.
And you can ask any question you want and they have all the answers. It's great.
It's great. Very knowledgeable people, but you know, great to hang with family, which we love to do. In fact, why don't we talk to some of the folks that are here with us today?
If you've never been here, the experience is amazing. And if you've been up here before, come up again. It's just so much fun up here and relaxing and enjoyable. It doesn't matter if it's freezing cold or a blue sky and warmer up like it is today, but it's a nice experience.
I have a great time.
I had a lot of fun. I did not realize how knowledgeable the drivers would be and how much we would learn about the elk. It was super cool to learn about what they do here and what they don't do really. They don't really mess with the elk. The elk, they just have this pasture for them to graze on, and the elk just come here and they're free range. They come and go as they want. This is just part of their migration pattern. I had no idea.
For me, it was fun to learn about the wildlife and how smart they are. They know when hunting season is coming and to come here to this sanctuary.
The wildlife.
The wildlife, yep. Mother Nature.
Right.
That's our place of being. If it's summertime, we're in the mountains. Wintertime, we're in the mountains with seeing the elk and enjoying it, away from the hustle bustle.
Just getting up and close and personal with the elk. You don't get that when we're out hunting and camping. You're looking through binoculars, and this is a whole different experience because you can be close. You can see them up close and notice things that you can't see when they're out on the mountain through the binoculars. So it's great fun.
Hey, you know what? It is really cool riding around on the sleighs here at the Hardware Ranch with all our whole family. What do you think? Is it cold enough?
Yeah, it's really cold.
You know, as we're riding back now, I think we're gonna get some hot chocolate when we arrive back.
Hot chocolate.
Warm up a little bit.
Yes.
It's always great spending time with family. But hey, stay tuned with us because we got more At Your Leisure coming up.
Sometimes to recharge, you need to unplug. In Tickaboo, Utah, you'll find a landscape that will give you more energy than you ever thought possible. Escape the heat in the Henry Mountains, where history, off-road adventure, and bison herds meet. It's time to unplug and recharge. Tickaboo, Utah.
At Your Leisure has a long-standing reputation and a large, loyal audience of adventurers in the outdoors. Although we're excited to continue to grow and enjoy the shared success of our longtime sponsors, we have space for more. And if you have a brand that would benefit from the 2 decades of goodwill that we've built, contact us at ayltv.com and let us amplify your voice above the competition.
Unexplored. Does it mean riding the same trails as everyone else? Fishing the same lakes? Stopping at the same views? No. Unexplored is so much more. To find it, you need to get off the beaten path. In the northeast corner of Utah, you and your family can still find a land that's unexplored. The shores of Flaming Gorge are only the beginning of a family adventure in Daggett County. Daggett County, Utah. It's what you find at the end of your adventure.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We're here at Hardware Ranch and we finally got some hot chocolate. I'm finally getting warm.
Well, you know, and it's a great day up here. It's probably, I think by now it's about 20 degrees, I'm sure.
Probably not.
You know, hey, it's a great place because hardware, and it turns out they call it hardware now. It's not really a ranch, so it's hardware. It's a very, very huge area. I didn't realize it was as big as it really is. And, you know, we learned that, of course, riding around on the sleigh. They're very educational on this trip as well.
You can ask them questions about anything and they've got answers. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I think what we should do now is let's learn about the elk that are here.
This is a part of an ongoing program that we've been doing ever since this WMA was founded, which was in 1945. The elk are here so to keep them out of the lower Cache Valley. Historically, the elk and deer would migrate from the mountains up here down into lower Cache Valley. With people moving up into lower Cache Valley, the elk still migrated down, but instead of eating the plants that they normally would eat, they'd get into farmers' haystacks and things like that. So this is part of the solution, is they would grow hay in the summertime and some of our meadows, and we would feed the elk that hay that we grew over the winter to keep them out of the lower Cache Valley. And then additionally, we test the elk for a disease called brucellosis. Brucellosis is a disease that causes mother elk to abort their calves. And it's highly contagious. There's no brucellosis in the elk herd right now, but both of the neighboring states around us, Wyoming and Idaho, both have it. So we test them just to make sure that our herd is healthy and safe, so that when they do leave them wherever they go off to, that they don't get it. The meadow holds anywhere between 400 to 500 elk at any given time, which is the amount of elk that we aim for. And today's count was a little lower than 400 actually. We were sitting right around 390. So that's probably due to some of the elk leaving the area. Some of them are in the pens for the testing, like I mentioned, and things like that. But I think this is such a popular thing because when do you ever really get to get this up close and personal to an iconic Utah wildlife? Rocky Mountain elk is our state mammal. There aren't very many opportunities to get up close and personal. For the most part, the elk stay up in the mountains, and I think people like it because it gets them up and out. It's nice to be outdoors, and then just to see the elk as well.
Great to learn about the elk. What are you doing?
I'm looking at the elk and staying warm.
Oh,
it's nice
that
and
is
warm
a pretty
in here.
good view there.
Yeah, and you can
You know, they have all these binoculars right here, so you can check those out like that.
All kinds of different ones here.
You know, what's cool about this is the education center up here. And I think the best part for you, it's nice and warm. It is warm in here, and you can check all kinds of things out. In fact, we even have Sparky here right next to us.
Right.
Sparky, the large stuffed elk, which is a pretty good size. I have to say, that's a pretty good size bull moose elk right there. I'm really digging on that. Well, this is a wonderful place, a little place where you can come up here. This is where you get your tickets to go in, of course. Yep. And it's nice and warm here.
Yes,
and
warm
warmth
is the key.
is really, really the key, especially with her today. You know, speaking of warm, we've got a really interesting Jeep story that takes place down in nice, warm, sunny Las Vegas right now.
That sounds good to me.
Why don't you guys go check that out?
In a world of big obstacles and bigger machines, the amount of customization and aftermarket modifications is bottomless. Tires, lift kits, skid plates, you name it, and they make it. But what do you do if you have a stock Jeep and you want to learn the fundamentals of off-roading? Well, you get with a club filled with patient, helpful, and experienced people who will take the time to teach you right the first time. One such club is the Desert Wranglers, based out of Las Vegas.
Today is our 101 Mount Potosi to Good Springs run, and we do take a lot of people that have not been off-road before, so it's really cool to have them experience their Jeep, what their Jeep can do, and that they can accomplish some of this stuff too.
What we like to do is teach and educate Jeepers and everything about their Jeeps and the trail, including the land. Those individuals that are looking to off-road but have no experience off-road, we're always willing to help teach and learn. You know, we teach them everything from the types of tires that is recommended, how to use their four-wheel drive, when to use their four-wheel drive. As we take them around the trails, we teach them about the land, what to respect, how to maintain the land, and just to make the best day of it, because at the end of the day, we want to have fun, so the next line of Jeepers will come in and do their learning and enjoy the outdoors.
And the thing with Desert Wranglers, they're one of many Jeep clubs, especially in the Las Vegas area, but we really are unique in the fact that we welcome new drivers. We have a home for them that they can come, learn, and grow, and then move on to the other clubs.
I've been in Jeeps my whole life. Growing up, we had a scrambler that I learned how to drive stick on through the deserts over here. So it's kind of fun having my own tank now to drive through and do my own damage to.
We had too much fun. It's a 1995 YJ Wrangler. It's all original, 80,000 miles, almost 30 years old. And it took every hill and every bump. It did great. This one does what it's meant to do. And it does it at a half a mile an hour or 70 miles an hour, but it doesn't talk back to you. It just does it. And then you as the driver, you guide it. So I feel like a guide for a machine that knows what to do. Isn't that something?
I joined shortly after getting my Jeep in August. My husband has had a Jeep before. He has a side-by-side, so not new to off-roading, but new to driving. So I knew I wanted to learn more on my own rather than just ride along.
So it's fun, just being out, because people think it's Vegas, and what do you do in Vegas? And like, there's so much more to our lovely area than just the Strip.
Vegas is surrounded on all sides by rocky desert. Perfect for off-road adventures.
This trail is actually one of my favorites. I love this trail. I ride it as much as I can. It is not a rated 1-2 type of trail. It's more like a 3-4. It is a bit technical, but still enough where a new Jeeper will have an understanding of their Jeep, the functions of the Jeep, the kinds of terrains they can come across, where they don't get too crazy. At the same time, they get to learn of all the maneuvering and their driving skills.
It's got really good obstacles, fun stuff, and really gets people excited about their Jeep, which is really important.
And even if you have a stock machine, that excitement comes from getting behind the wheel and spending time off the pavement and in the dirt.
I did definitely learn. It was very cool to ride behind some experienced drivers and follow their lines, but really getting to learn and follow their lines was really helpful today.
And now being part of this group, I really like the 101 because a Scrambler versus a Gladiator is a little bit different. I'm learning a lot and I really appreciate it.
It was a nice day. The best part of it is getting to a place that's like this and stopping and pulling up a chair and going, wow, this is a nice place.
It's just a great club. Our website is great. It's full of educational information, videos on these runs so you can kind of see the run before you go. And then a great way to communicate with us as a club too.
Every outing with the Desert Wranglers will teach you something new, build your confidence, and reveal just what you and your Jeep are made of. From the Nevada desert, I'm Will Oxley.
At Stedman's Recreation, trucks are arriving daily with back-ordered side-by-sides, ATVs, and dirt bikes. Let Stedman's Recreation help get you outside so you can explore and create memories to last a lifetime. Call or stop by Stedman's to hold your side-by-side, ATV, or dirt bike with a small deposit. Yamaha, Honda, Polaris, and Beta. Plus, Stedman's has a full service department and Honda power equipment.
Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. You may think it's 300 miles out here, but remember, it's only 30 miles back.
Join us on AYL 24/7 with early access to commercial-free episodes, detailed trip itineraries, a look behind the scenes, group discussions and forums, profile and account customization, individual segments, and a nostalgic trip to classic episodes. We want our viewers to get the show they want to see when they want to see it. It's all the viewing you've grown to love and more. Sign up now at AYLTV.com.
When you're ready for adventure, fuel your machine with Clear 91. Fuel for performance, fuel for adventure, and fuel for the long haul. Ethanol-free, 91 octane. Fill up with Clear 91. Only available at Eagles Landing. With you for the long haul.
There are a lot of small towns in Utah, and there are a lot of ATV trails, but there aren't very many that offer riding like this. Here in Hanksville, we're the home of Factory Butte. pure adrenaline mixed with the grandeur of the West. Plus, with plenty of hotels and restaurants, you can stay and explore for days without ever needing a trailer. Hanksville, Utah, your base camp for thrills.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure.
What a day we've had up here.
Yes.
I enjoy having the family up.
Yes, it was nice to share that with them.
Yes. Our family, our close family, our very large extended family that
Our
we have.
grandbaby.
We had our granddaughter here, and
Our
we have
soon-to-be grandson.
We have a grandson on his way. He was up here too, just in Mom's tummy.
Yep.
We really look forward to that coming, so we're excited for that. But what a great tradition that we have with
Yes.
all of them to do this up
That
here.
is
It's such a
awesome.
great place, and it's such a wonderful view. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, and the number of elk that they've had this year, they've had a good show. The elk are here in great numbers. Obviously, they knew that we were coming to cover this year, so we had plenty of them here to make their spot in the limelight, shall we say.
Yep.
I think it's been a great time, and it's going to be time to head back down into town soon because I'm kind of hungry.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah.
So while we do that, you check out next week's show.
Next week, Chad and Rhea are giving us the inside scoop on the new OHV education requirement by providing a little history and the reasoning behind it. Plus, they'll show us just how easy it really is.
Then Will Oxley is taking us to Arizona to show us a great hiking trail just south of the Hoover Dam that ends up this awesome hot spring.
Finally, Brett Pennefather is joining the guys at Range Valley Ranch as he experiences the challenges of life on the mountaintops in the middle of the Utah winter. Now let's take a look at our calendar of events.
Coming up in February, it's the expo season, and the AYL crew has a full schedule of events you do not want to miss. First expo is the Utah Boat and Water Sports, which is February 9th through the 12th.
Then February 16th through the 19th, it's a Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show, which is a great way to get ready for the camping season.
And finally, on February 24th and 25th is our favorite, the Salt Lake Off-Road and Outdoor Expo, which is a great time for anyone who loves off-roading.
The AYL crew will be at all of these shows throughout the month of February, so be sure to come on down, say hello, and grab yourself a sticker.
Next week's show looks great.
I think it does, but I don't think anybody's going to have the good time that we've had here today.
Oh my gosh.
Have you guys had fun today? Did you like the elk? You like riding on a sleigh? How about you? Oh, you betcha. You know what? This is a great time, and we invite everybody to come up here and be a part of this. Hardware Ranch is such a historic, great place, and we enjoy coming up here. And I think we need to do this again next year.
On a Sunday when it's less busy.
That's true. We are up here on a Sunday, so, you know, all of you that left church this morning, well, now you're all busted, you know? But hey, with all the folks at home, we invite you to get off your couches and remember that there is adventure around every single bend.
Create your adventure.
At your leisure.